Most prepper content treats canned food as a 2 to 5 year stockpile category and stops there. That number comes from manufacturer quality recommendations, not safety limits. 12 specific canned foods have documented track records of remaining safe and palatable decades past that window, and number 9 surprises almost everyone. Number 1, canned chicken, beef, and ham. Canned chicken, beef, and ham represent the baseline for this entire list, because USDA guidance states explicitly that commercially canned low-acid foods remain safe indefinitely, as long as the can itself shows no damage, such as rust, dents, along seams, bulging, or leaks. The retort processing used to can meat involves sealing the can and then heating it under pressure to a temperature that destroys all microorganisms capable of growing inside it, creating a sterile environment that the airtight seal then preserves indefinitely. A well-documented 1974 study by food scientists examined canned goods recovered from a sunken ship that had been underwater for over a century and found the contents inside intact cans still microbiologically safe. Canned meat provides protein that requires no refrigeration, no cooking equipment, and no water to prepare. Choosing products packed in their own juices rather than heavy sauces tends to produce better results over very long storage periods. And number 2, sardines, salmon, and mackerel in oil. Sardines, salmon, and mackerel packed in oil extend the shelf life advantage of canned meat even further because the oil itself acts as an additional oxygen barrier around the fish, slowing the oxidation process that gradually affects flavor and texture in canned goods over very long time frames. The combination of retort sterilization and airtight seal and an oil packing medium gives these products some of the longest documented quality retention windows of any canned protein source. Beyond protein, canned fish in oil delivers omega-3 fatty acids and, in the case of sardines and salmon with bones included, a meaningful source of calcium that is otherwise difficult to obtain from a shelf-stable food source without dairy. Choosing fish packed in olive oil rather than water provides additional oxidation protection that water-packed varieties lack. Number 3. Sweetened condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk works through the same preservation chemistry that makes honey shelf stable indefinitely. The sugar concentration in sweetened condensed milk runs between 40 and 45%, which creates an osmotic environment that draws water out of any bacteria or mold spores that might otherwise grow, effectively preventing microbial activity as long as the can remains sealed. This is the same principle that has kept honey edible in sealed tombs for thousands of years. Sweetened condensed milk can be diluted with water to approximate fresh milk for cooking, used directly in baking, or eaten on its own as a dense source of calories and a genuine morale boost during an extended situation where sweet flavors become rare. Look for cans without rust or dents along the seams when buying for long-term storage, since a compromised seal defeats the sugar's preservation effect entirely. Number 4. Evaporated milk. Evaporated milk uses a different mechanism than its sweetened counterpart, but achieves a similarly long practical shelf life through the retort sterilization process applied to a concentrated milk product with significantly reduced water content compared to fresh milk. The combination of sterilization and reduced moisture content gives evaporated milk a documented shelf life that regularly exceeds printed dates by years when the can remains undamaged. It provides calcium, protein, and fat in a form that can be reconstituted with water for drinking or used directly in cooking and baking, making it one of the more versatile dairy substitutes available in a long-term canned food stockpile. Some practitioners specifically seek evaporated milk cans without pull tabs, on the theory that pull tabs represent a potential weak point in the seal. That margin matters. Number 5. Canned corn, peas, and carrots. Canned corn, peas, and carrots belong in a category that food scientists specifically distinguish from acidic, canned vegetables like tomatoes because the near neutral pH of these vegetables does not promote the slow corrosion of can linings that acidic foods cause over very long storage periods. This is part of why USDA shelf life guidance for low-acid canned vegetables extends considerably further than for high-acid canned products. Corn, peas, and carrots provide fiber, vitamins, and genuine variety in texture and flavor compared to the grain and legume-heavy base of most long-term food storage plans, and they require no preparation beyond opening the can and heating if desired. Rotating these vegetables into normal meals periodically lets you verify quality firsthand and replace older cans at almost no cost. Number 6. Canned cream-based soups. Canned cream-based soups occupy a useful middle ground in a long-term stockpile because they combine the low acid shelf stability of canned vegetables with the caloric density that comes from their fat content, while also delivering hydration in the same can as the food itself. A can of cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup can be eaten directly, diluted to stretch further, or used as a base ingredient that transforms plain rice or pasta from the rest of a food storage system into something that tastes like an actual prepared meal, rather than emergency rations, which matters significantly for morale over an extended period. Checking sodium content matters here too, since some cream soups run extremely high in sodium when eaten as a large share of meals over time. Number 7. Honey in a sealed tin. Honey in a sealed tin or can deserves its place on this list for the same reason it appears on virtually every long-term storage list. Its sugar concentration and natural hydrogen peroxide production create an environment so hostile to microorganisms that archaeologists have recovered honey from ancient Egyptian tombs that remained edible after thousands of years. Canned or tinned honey, as opposed to honey in glass jars, adds a layer of protection against light exposure, which can very slowly affect honey's color and flavor over extremely long storage periods, even though it does not affect safety. Honey provides immediate usable energy, wound care applications, and a sweetener for the bland, calorie-dense staples that make up most long-term food storage. Unlike glass, tins are also far less likely to shatter during transport, which makes canned honey a meaningfully better choice for a go bag. Number 8. Canned butter. Canned butter, most commonly available from New Zealand producers and sold specifically for long-term storage, is vacuum-sealed and shelf-stable without refrigeration for years before opening. Butter's composition, which is mostly fat with very little water content, gives it inherent resistance to the microbial growth that requires moisture, and the vacuum sealing process removes the oxygen that would otherwise allow the fat to slowly oxidize and develop off flavors. Many long-term storage practitioners report canned butter remaining usable well beyond manufacturer recommended dates when stored in cool, dark conditions. Fat is one of the most calorically dense nutrients available, and canned butter adds both calories and genuinely improved flavor to rice, beans, and other staples that otherwise taste identical meal after meal. Several brands ship internationally specifically for long-term storage, with cans designed without pull tabs to maximize seal integrity over years. Number 9. Canned coconut milk. Canned coconut milk is the item on this list that almost nobody includes in long-term storage planning because most people mentally associate coconut products with fresh or refrigerated items rather than something shelf-stable for years. The high fat content of coconut milk gives it the same low moisture, oxidation-resistant profile that makes canned butter and oil-packed fish shelf-stable for extended periods, while the can itself provides the same airtight protection as every other item on this list. Beyond its nutritional value as a calorie and fat source, canned coconut milk functions as a flavor transformer, turning plain rice into something resembling an actual dish. And its versatility in both savory and sweet preparations makes it one of the highest value additions a stockpile can make per can. A single can of coconut milk added to rice and beans changes the entire character of the meal and breaks up monotony better than almost anything else. Number 10. Pickled vegetables and sauerkraut. Pickled vegetables and sauerkraut preserved in a vinegar brine rely on acetic acid concentration to create an environment where the pathogens responsible for foodborne illness, including the bacteria responsible for botulism, cannot survive or reproduce. This is the same acetic acid mechanism that gives plain white vinegar its own indefinite shelf life, and canned or jarred pickled vegetables inherit that same chemical stability. Beyond shelf life, pickled vegetables provide meaningful vitamin C content and, in the case of traditionally fermented sauerkraut, probiotic benefits that support digestive health during a period when diet changes dramatically and digestive disruption becomes a genuine quality of life issue. Homemade pickled vegetables using a verified safe vinegar to water ratio extend this category well beyond what is available commercially. That flexibility is real. Number 11. Canned beans, already cooked. Canned beans that have already been cooked, as distinct from dried beans that require cooking, occupy a unique position because they can be eaten directly from the can with no preparation, no water, and no fuel required, which matters enormously in a scenario where any of those three resources is constrained. The low acid profile of beans gives canned beans the same extended shelf life advantage as canned corn and peas, and they provide the same complete protein profile when combined with grains that makes the rice and beans combination foundational to long-term food storage. Having a portion of a bean supply already cooked and canned, rather than entirely dried, provides flexibility for situations where cooking is not possible. Stocking a mix of bean varieties, black, pinto, and kidney, for example, provides flavor variety that matters after weeks of eating from the same stockpile. Number 12. Canned bacon. Canned bacon is a specialty product fully cooked and packed in a sealed can along with its own rendered fat that some manufacturers explicitly market with shelf life claims in the 10 to 15 year range, and the same high fat, low moisture chemistry that makes canned butter shelf stable applies here as well. Beyond its practical value as a protein and fat source requiring no refrigeration, canned bacon addresses something that most long-term food storage completely ignores: the psychological value of a familiar, strongly flavored food during an extended period of bland, calorie-dense staples. A few strips of bacon transform a plain meal into something that feels like a genuine treat, and that morale effect should not be underestimated over weeks or months. Canned bacon costs more per serving than other items here, so most households reasonably stock a smaller quantity reserved for when morale matters most. These 12 items share the same underlying chemistry: low moisture, high fat or sugar content, acidic preservation, or complete sterilization inside an airtight seal. Stock whichever fit your diet and rotate them like everything else. Subscribe for the next video on telling if an old can is still safe.